I don't expect you to believe the things I've seen and now perceive, but if you'll sit and hear me through, I'll tell my tale that's strange but true. It's now been 1 year to the day I almost sold my soul away. I never cursed or blessed or prayed, so when I had the chance to trade my tainted soul for dreams come true, I took the bait, and you would too. Still, if there'd been a way somehow to know back then what I know now, I'd have chose a safer path and not endured this aftermath. There I was that night last year, near midnight on an eve so clear. I saw the full moon shining bright, insomnia again that night. Exhausted, restless, wide awake, I took a stroll down to the lake. Some fresh air in my face should start to clear my head and calm my heart. But in my mind, the sad regression led to pity and depression. Worries rise and overflow. No tale to tell, no place to go, no lover waiting for my call, no family pictures on the wall. A lonely, mild, soft existence, no progression, no resistance. If I knew some kind of spell, yes, magic, that would make me well and happy when I'm feeling low and take me places fun to go. With magic powers, then I'd choose to play the games and never lose. I dried my eyes and stood up straight. If only that would be my fate. The thought was silly and inane, but why not try it? How insane would it be if my magic power let me sweeten life thus sour? Then I had a revelation to try a random invocation. If my spell works, then I'll be free, and if not, how worse could things be? I closed my eyes and felt a surge possess me with the sudden urge to gather all the parts I'll need. The first requires me to bleed. 5 drops of blood. Ouch, that hurt. I made a circle in the dirt. As I leaned back against an oak, I closed my eyes, and to invoke this magic spell, I almost feel it, holding my breath just to seal it. I sat down within the sphere and chanted, I will know no fear. O darkest beings of the night, please grant me my soul's true delight. Well, nothing happened. No surprise. I took a breath, opened my eyes. Then suddenly I heard a sound I think came from beneath the ground. Then distant laughter caught my ear. Again I yelled, I know no fear. The cold wind blowing now was warm, and in the sky a thunderstorm made me quickly snap up my head and saw the sky turn black to red. Like in a dream, yet still awake, I knew I had made a mistake. Nervous with anticipation, damn it, I said in frustration, shaken by thunder and by lightning. Then I saw something far more frightening. I was scared or I'd have ran. Then suddenly there stood a man. The figure tall was robed in red with points protruding from his head. He turned to me. I froze in place. He pulled his hood and showed his face. I never thought someday I'd meet a man with horns and cloven feet. His skin, dark red, was glossed with sweat. His eyes I never will forget. I couldn't speak, but tried to stand. He raised his arm and waved his hand. I nodded, hoping he was kind. Then his tail whipped out from his hind. He stroked his beard, then cracked a grin. His every movement reeked of sin. The 30 feet between he cleared in seconds flat, so it appeared. And now he looked me in the eye, but still a loss for words was I. A moment passed, the silence broke, and filled the empty as he spoke. Please let me welcome you to hell. I trust your journey here was well. You may call me Lucifer, that is the name I most prefer. Now have a seat with me and speak to me of that in which you seek. What's wrong? That spell you just created wasn't what anticipated? Ever in your darkest dreams? Well, what is ever what it seems? Now, what he said was true and wise, surprising from the Prince of Lies. Now, my boy, let's make a trade. A fair exchange here must be made. What is it that you truly wish? To fly like birds, to swim like fish, to age like trees, an endless feast? To be a rich man at the least? To be desired by the masses, superpowers, x-ray glasses, vengeance over those you hate, to know the future, cheat your fate? How about any woman's love? A kingdom or the stars above? The power to make sick ones well? Perhaps you'd like to rule in hell. The devil paused and raised his brow. Well, speak your mind, but do it now. I heard some screaming faintly linger as the devil tapped his finger. I thought about the life I lived. And in return, what shall I give? A brick of gold? A lump of coal? Or must I hand over my soul? Well, this caught Lucifer off guard, but he was used to dealing hard. He cleared his throat and then replied, "Well, only after you have died. That's not so bad," the devil mused. "It's not like it was being used." The devil's words cut like a knife, as I thought of my simple life. "I really wish not to debate with you, but I appreciate this offer that you've just presented. What a deal you have invented. Though I do admit temptation, how could I accept damnation if it was my willing choice and if I used a willing voice? But if I could have one last shot, I'd like to keep the soul I've got. This second chance I would welcome well. But if I can't, I'll gladly sell my soul to you at half the cost, assuming that it isn't lost." Perhaps I must have made him think. He paused and smiled and gave a wink. "Forgiving I have never been, and far prefer to practice sin. Though I'll admit I could use someone with nothing left to lose, though somehow I don't think I'd gain much satisfaction from your pain. I can see your life's been rough and see you've suffered long enough, so I've decided that I'll wait and see what becomes of your fate. I think that we could be friends, if after death your soul descends. You see, goodness is as goodness was, but evil is as evil does. So go, return to where you were, or you can stay if you'd prefer." I quickly stood and shook his hand. Its heat was more than I could stand. I turned around, and there a door stood that was not there before. I closed my eyes and walked on through and said farewell to you-know-who. And when my eyes opened, I'd returned. The hand he shook was slightly burned. I slammed the door, which disappeared, but all in all, that's hardly weird. I sighed, then headed home for bed, remembering all that was said. And I hope that you heed this tale, and never put your soul for sale. Although my story ended well, you do not want to be in hell. So live as I do, optimistic, and don't be so masochistic. Because I will tell you for certain that when life closes the curtain, there will be no happy end if you've the devil as your friend. Okay. This is called The Sun and the Moon. I don't do a whole lot of happy poems, but this is written for my daughters, Charlotte and Mia. It is what it is.